Hello, you're watching Bent TV. I'm Simon J, and I'm joined tonight by my fantastic panel, Sally, Mel, and Linda. Yay. We're talking tonight about bisexuality, and in particular, I'd like to ask about biphobia. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, biphobia, first and foremost, it comes across as invisibility of bisexual people. It takes the quite sinister form of people across the community simply questioning our existence. And if you've ever had your existence questioned as an identity category, it's really hard to even begin to combat that. Yeah.
So people question your existence in the sense that, oh, well, you can't decide, or is that?
Definitely that. The word confused comes up a lot. I have a favourite badge that says, no, I'm bisexual, you're confused. But actually, Simon, like just as an example, I was listening to a Melbourne radio station 10 years ago, like just about, one of the ones connected with the ABC, so you'd think pretty socially forward. And they were talking about gay and just in the context of a chat, gay and bi. And then the woman said, oh, but you know, I don't believe in bi, like, that's not even a thing really. And I know that was like perhaps 7 or 8 years ago, but that's not a really long time, I suppose, once you get to my age or some of our ages. But
so that's quite common. People think it's not real.
Exactly, yeah.
What's your thoughts on biphobia?
I don't like it, and I would really like it to stop. I have experienced biphobia. The worst is just being the butt of everyone's jokes. It has happened in the past. I've never once had a choice. I am who I am. I do have a choice. That choice is who I choose to spend my time with. And I choose not to spend my time with people that are going to be biphobic with me. The worst part is not just that we have people in the community, but also my apologies. I've experienced biphobia in the heterosexual community as well as the gay and lesbian community, as well as experiencing homophobia from the heterosexual community. Okay. So it's like I get everyone to just be afraid of me, and I'm not sure what's happening because I'm comfortable with who I am. I wish other people could be as well.
What about you, Sally?
Yeah, look, I've had experiences of biphobia, which, you know, any prejudice or negativity towards bisexuals, you know, people attracted to more than one gender identity. Probably a few that stick out for me. I went down to a so-called queer friendly venue once in regional Victoria and just chatting with someone, this woman who I presume was lesbian says, "You're not one of those bisexuals, are you?" And it was really quite intense. Many years ago there was a festival of Jewish and queer films, and there was a film about a party that some Jewish lesbians were throwing. They get a voicemail message, "My friend is bisexual, can I come?" And they just look at each other, laugh and hang up the phone, and the whole audience laughs. And not so much directly to me, but for many years Bi Alliance and our predecessor Bi Victoria, marching in Pride March, there'd be biphobic slurs from the crowd, and this reached its depth about 2011-12ish, where at the next of our bi discussion meetings, one of the newer people who was really proud to march with us came along and just burst into tears. So the fact that that can happen in Pride March, we'll say a premier rainbow event, was really poor. Thankfully people have spoken up against it. Yeah, recently as this decade. 2012? Yeah. So yeah, big change, but to their credit, Pride March were really supportive about fixing that. Put us up the front of the pretty close to the front of the march next year, which was really good, and it has shifted a long way since and keeps getting better.
Good. Funnily enough, on perhaps a more recent note, from my previous example, like I was invited right at the start of this calendar year, at the start of 2014, invited to a club, you know, a lesbian bar, and the write-up on Facebook said something like, bisexual and straight women are welcome to attend with their lesbian friends. And so it was just kind of like, lucky my lesbian friends are going who are properly same-sex attracted, because I'm obviously the second class. Yeah, it's not, you kind of laugh at the irony, but it's really not good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, the language thing can be really subtle, and sometimes it's more than subtle when people say LGBTI and then use lesbian and gay throughout, say, a brochure or a website, and there's a website of a well-known Sydney-based organisation that says we just use gay because we don't want all those words, which is insulting to lesbian, bi, trans and intersex. And that's really not good enough either. It's erasing, and it's this denial, which, as Linda said, hits any group when you're denied, or the extent of your issues are denied, all that sort of thing. And the research from, dare I say, the ironically named Gay and Lesbian Health Victoria, such as Private Lives Too, shows bi people do have worse mental health outcomes, and it's logically because, you know, we're copying discrimination from both parts of both sides, heterosexual and gay and lesbian. And I find personally the gay and lesbian, where it comes from, those elements of gays and lesbians, I just struggle to rationalise that someone can face discrimination and then go and try to dump their monkey on someone else's shoulder. That's not going to help anyone.
So if we had any biphobic viewers currently, what would you say to them to change their view?
Just from a personal perspective, like I might be a bit sort of too soft-hearted for my own good, but I do kind of, as a bisexual person, I kind of look at gay and lesbian people, and I can perhaps understand a level of resentment that, like, they have had to go through this whole coming out process, and it's really hard. It seems to me like a more specific identity. And I guess the message from a bisexual person like myself is, you know, don't deny that I exist. Just because of those negatives in your life, don't use that to deny that we exist and that we're on your side. We're all part of the rainbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I can't change people, but I know that all phobia in all its forms, racism, sexism, you know, biphobia, homophobia, all stems from ignorance. And so if you're not sure about something, you should learn about something before you start making comment and judgment. And that people should be accepted for who they are, without question and without doubt.
Sorry?
Mel's, you know, sort of hit the nail on the proverbial head, that it's about both parts. It's about fear, which is emotion, irrationality, and then, you know, trying to deal with that, and then also getting the fact and the rationality that, of course, bisexuals exist, and someone else to say that we can't, you know, is just plain irrational. But it's also maybe, if I can use a phrase from my days when I thought I might be a counsellor, to be gently challenging. It's about people trying to be honest enough to ask themselves, what is it about bisexuality that gets them? And I think it has to be dealt with, that it's, you know, any prejudice is the issue of the people giving out the prejudice, not those on the receiving end.
Thank you. Thank you to my panel tonight, Sally, Mel and Linda. That's all we've got time for. Hopefully that's changed your mind about if you're biphobic. Good night.